What's up, everybody? My name is Felipe Casanova, also known as I Don't Give a Phil on Twitter. My friends call me Phil. Basically, I've been watching a lot of poker blogs, and I started getting into them, most famously Andrew Nemi. Great video editing, great hand analysis, just a overall great blog, and I decided I was going to try to do my own poker vlog. I woke up and said, let's do a vlog, and here we are. I'm from South Florida, born and raised, sunny Miami, Florida, and I've been playing poker for about 15 years now, and I really enjoyed the game from the first second I started playing. It's a game that makes you think, that makes you make decisions, tough decisions, and it's a game that is just great. You can play with friends, you can go casino, try to make some money, so I've always liked playing poker. Funny story, the way I started was a friend at my old job said, you know how to play cards? And I was like, no, I've never really played. He's like, I can teach you to play poker. And I was like, sure. So he brought a deck of cards, and we didn't have chips, so we had to use the coffee stirrers at work. So it was really funny because he would be like, I raise you 3 coffee stirrers. I'd be like, I raise you 10. He'd be like, I'm all in. I'm like, I call. I win all the coffee stirrers. And that's basically how I learned. What I want to do with this vlog is basically just go over hands, not your 4 of a kind hands, although that may happen in some episodes, but like hands that really make you think, hands that make you want to think to see if what you decided to do was the right decision, whether to call, to raise, to fold. Those are hands that are not so basic, that are more thought-provoking, that are hands where you're really in a tough spot where it could go either way what you do. So that's basically what I want to do with this poker vlog, and later on tonight I'm going to be going to the Hard Rock. I mainly play 2-5, I play some 5-10 as well, and I'm going to see what happens when we go, and I'm going to go over some of those hands with you guys later on when I get back, and well, see you in a few. What's up, guys? Just got back from the Seminole Hard Rock Casino in Hollywood, Florida. Played a 2-5 session, had some rather interesting hands, and I want to go over them with you guys. The first hand that I want to go over with you guys is I pick up Ace-10 of clubs under the gun, and I raise it to 15. It's a hand that I think it's too nitty to fold. Calling, I'm not going to get much information, and raising, smallish, raise 15, maybe build a little pot. Seems like a good play for me based on the table. A couple loose players. A couple players don't have too much information on yet because they haven't played many hands, but I make it 15 and there's one caller and a guy middle position makes it 50. $50. I'm not quite sure what he has. Haven't seen much, but could be an ace king, ace queen, high pair, not quite sure. Could be raising with nothing. The stacks are pretty big in this table, so I'm kind of assessing the situation, and a couple more people call the 50 and I call, and we go to the flop 5-handed. So the flop comes 10, 4, 3, 2 spades, so I flop top pair, top kicker. First act, a lot of people behind me. I'm gonna check and kind of see what develops. So I end up making a check, and the original raiser makes it 100. Now there's a couple folds, and it goes to this guy who's been crazy at the table. I'm talking about like he's played every hand, called every hand, doesn't fold it seems like, and he also calls $100. Everyone else folds, and it's on me. And I have top pair, top kicker. I'm not too worried about the so-called maniac that I was talking about. The original raiser, like I said, it's difficult. He may have a higher pair, but he could also have continuation bet with 2 high cards. So at this point, I'm going to at least call. I don't think raising is a good play, because if he has aces or kings, I may be in some deep doo-doo. So I end up making the call, and we go to the turn. The turn brings another low card. It doesn't bring the flush. It brings an offsuit 6, and although it does bring a straight draw, I'm not too worried about that card. I end up checking. The original raiser ends up checking, and then it gets to the maniac. The maniac doesn't think for long, and he ends up betting $350. Now, this is a bet where I feel like he's trying to steal the pot. I feel like he sensed weakness with both players checking. It's possible he could flop a set, but I mean, like I said, this guy's been playing everything. He's been pretty aggressive. So at this point, I think not for too long. And very important, you should always think about the other person in the hand behind you. I know it's simple to just concentrate on the bet of 350, but it's also important to know what the person behind you may do, because they may re-raise or they may call as well. So at this point, I make a pretty quick call, thinking that if the original raiser does have jacks or queens, he may think one of us has a set and fold. So I make the call of $350. Actually, I push all in. I had about 420. So I end up shoving for 420. The original raiser thinks for a little bit and is like hesitant, and he looks like he's going to call, but he doesn't. He ends up mucking and folding. Obviously, the aggressive guy only has to call 70 more, so he calls my shove of all in, and the river comes, and it's a king of diamonds. I turn over ace 10, and we chop. He also has ace 10, and happy to split the pot. Can't complain. Could have gone worse. Could have gone better, but I'll take the chop in this hand, and I got some information, I would say. And the original raiser ends up saying he had jacks. So we got the better hand to fold, I think, with my quick call of the maniac's bet. So that's it for that hand, and happy to chop. Alright, so I want to go over the second hand with you guys. I end up picking up ace 9 of clubs in middle position. I come in for a bet of 20, and everyone calls behind me. Every single person. So it goes 6-handed to the flop. The flop comes kind of favorable, I guess. Not the best, not the worst. It comes ace 7-4 rainbow. I end up putting a flop bet of $40, and I get half the field out of there, and I get 2 callers going to the turn. The turn is the jack of spades, and this puts a spade draw out there. Not too worried about that hands. I mean, somebody may have an ace with a better kicker, so I'm going to try to pot control. The jack doesn't worry me too much, although it does put a flush draw out there. I end up checking. The remaining 2 players also check, so I'm feeling pretty good that maybe they have some sort of straight draw like 5-6. Maybe they also have an ace with a not so decent kicker. So my ace 9 is looking pretty good, so I'm planning, if a safe card comes on the river, to value bet, and if not, I'll check and see what develops from there. The river comes, and it's a pretty good card for me. The 9 comes out, giving me 2 pair. I end up checking to see if I can get someone to bluff the river. The second player checks, and the last player to act in the hand puts out a big bet of $250. Now, at this point, I have a decision to make. He could have slow played a set, Maybe a set of 7s on the flop, maybe a set of 4s. I'm not quite sure. But this is the guy who was a maniac in that ace-10 hand. Now, he wasn't a maniac in that ace-10 hand per se, but he has been playing every pot. He's the one I said earlier that was aggressive, so he could really have anything here. This point, I put him on maybe just an ace, or maybe he missed a draw and he's trying to bluff since we both checked the river. So I'm not folding. I don't even think I'm calling. I debate for a while and I put him to the test. I shove all in with my 2 pair, ace-9. The other player folds and he thinks about it for a very long time. At this point, I know he doesn't have a set. I have him beat. I'm hoping that he makes a call. Unfortunately, he releases a hand, but we win a pretty sizable pot checking the river. It's a play I like to do a lot. Let people bluff the river. It's a very common play where people like to bluff the river, and I ended up getting more value by checking instead of betting, it appears. So we win a nice pot there.
Only 13 people bought them.
So in this hand, the under the gun player makes it $25 and gets a caller, and it's on me with 3-5 of diamonds. So I like to sometimes splash around with this hand. It plays well multi-way pots, and it's a hand that's kind of you know, sneaky, where people may not put me on it, as it's a razor 25 and people will be calling with pairs, high cards, stuff like that. So I like to make the call, and there's 2 more callers. So the pot is $125, and so we're going to the flop. Flop comes out pretty good. 8-5-3, flop bottom 2. The original raiser ends up betting 50, 1/3 the pot. At this point, I think he could have aces, he could have kings, queens, any overpair, or 2 high cards, as he's betting 1/3 the pot. So could go either way, but at this point I think I'm good, so I'm going to elect to put a raise in for $150. Couple folds and it gets to the guy on the button, and he ends up making the call. So at this point I'm thinking maybe a flush draw, maybe he has an ace-8, top pair, top kicker. Possible he has a set, but not likely, as I have the 3s and the 5s in my hand, so that the chances of a set very unlikely, and gets back to original razor. The whole dog and pony show comes from this guy. He just starts rambling. This always happens to me. I don't know why. I'm always with bad luck. It's like he just starts going on and on and on for about 2 minutes, just complaining my luck is terrible, and then he elects to shove for 600. At this point, I am like, let me think. You're talking a lot of BS. But when I start analyzing the hand, as I said earlier, I have 3-5, so a set of 3s and set of 5s would be very unlucky. I'm putting him on aces or kings or queens, a high pair, and he thinks he's good. So I end up shoving all in for 730, and the guy who called the 150 on the button thinks about it for also a long time. So this hand is taking forever. But I'm okay because I think I'm good, and he ends up calling off his stack as well for 600 also. The turn comes a 9 of clubs, not the best card in my opinion, and the river's a 2 of diamonds, which is pretty safe. So the original raiser proudly turns over his pair of 8s for set of 8s, which I did not put him on, and he's very happy, like he's gonna win the pot. My 3-5 is obviously dead there for bottom 2 pair, and the button, who had the worst hand pre-flop, oh, I guess mine was worse, but he had 10-6 of clubs and he turned flush, and pretty unfavorable hand, pretty bad luck there. Guess that's why you shouldn't play 3-5 of diamonds, but hey, sometimes it works out and you win a sizable pot. In this case, it was not a good hand for us, but hey, on to the next one. There's always a hand that can come in the future that'll work out better. This session was pretty good table. Can't complain. Came up $84. Not that good for a 2-5 session, but hey, we came out with a profit, and we'll take it. And hope you guys liked my initial vlog, and that's pretty much it. Just subscribe and like, leave your comments. If you guys like what you see, then let me know in the comment section if you would have played hands any differently, or if you agree with my line on some of these hands. Basically, I'll be working on vlog number 2, and hope to catch you guys in the comment section. Subscribe and like. Thanks. Bye, guys.